Hi, I see that you've submitted your TED Talk preparation handout, but it looks like there's still a lot of room for you to continue preparing your presentation and really taking it to that next level that you'll want for when you present your final presentation for this semester. So first of all, I noticed that you have completed your audience analysis, but it's a little vague. You mentioned that they will have curiosity to learn more about HIV and AIDS, and I just wanted to ask you how you know this. Did you conduct a survey? Did you ask them? Have you done any investigation? Did you see if what they already know about it and maybe what they're curious to learn more about? Understanding what your audience's previous knowledge is on your topic is really important because you don't want to bore them if they already know about it. You want to meet them at the level that they're currently at and help them to grow. So that's important. At this point in time though, because I know you're presenting in class on Tuesday, I don't think you're going to be able to have a chance to ask them this. So that kind of puts you in a hard place. But something you can definitely work on is your presentation aids. So I notice here that you just mentioned one, and that's a PowerPoint. But for this TED Talk presentation, you're actually going to need 2 presentation aids. And so think about what might work. You're going to include a PowerPoint, and what other thing could you include? Maybe a handout or a prop, or perhaps there's a short video. Now, this presentation, you do need to speak for at least 8 minutes, so it's 8 to 10 minutes. So if you talk for 8 minutes, that means that you could include a video that's like 1 or 2 minutes long, and that might be another presentation aid that you could include. So moving on to your introduction, it looks like you have addressed the 5 elements that are needed for a successful introduction. You have included a quote as your intention getter. Now, where is this quote from? When you say a quote in a speech, it's important to let your audience know where the quote is from, who said it, what was the name of the article, and what date was it said. Your thesis statement is straightforward and very clear, easy to understand. Now, for what is in it for the audience, this section of your introduction, you will want to write it just how you plan to say it. So, why would the audience want to know or hear your speech? What value will your presentation add to their life? Say that here. And write it exactly like how you plan to say it. This will help you to prepare a good speech. Your credibility statement, now here you have a fact, which is good, but that's not exactly what your credibility statement needs to say. When you're preparing a credibility statement, this is your chance to communicate to your audience why you're trustworthy, why the audience should respect you and your ideas. So here you might say something along the lines of, I've been researching HIV and AIDS for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a semester, or I don't know how long you've been researching it, but this might be a good time to share that. That way the audience knows that you're not fake news. And last but not least, you're going to want to end your introduction with the preview of your main ideas, and you have 3 of them here, so it looks pretty straightforward. And again, being that repetitive, I know that's not something we do in our writing, but it is something that you want to do in your speech so that your audience knows what to listen for and hopefully will remember your ideas. You have some things that are blank that you're going to want to fill in since a final draft of your handout will be due the day that you present. You have informational here as your organizational pattern. Unfortunately, that is not an organizational pattern. That's a type of speech. So if you're giving an informative speech, it means that you're teaching your audience something, which is great and exactly what you should be doing for this TED Talk presentation. But the organizational pattern is going to refer to the role that your main ideas have and how you decided what idea to say first, second, and third. So for your ideas here, HIV maybe because it has no cure, maybe that's a problem. and a cause. I'm not sure. So it doesn't look like your ideas fit the problem, cause, solution model. Maybe it fits the cause and effect model. That looks like a better fit. So if this is kind of how you're thinking, so HIV has no cure, right? So this is a problem. This is something that has, because HIV doesn't have a cure, it is having big ripples within our community, within our world, and the effects that it is having are that many teens are getting it, and it rapidly reproduces. I'm not sure again there. So you might double check to see what organizational pattern makes the most sense with your presentation. Let me go ahead and fix your main ideas back to where they were. Alright, now the body of your presentation, you're starting to kind of fill out your ideas and organize them, but your supporting material is very brief. You just have like one sentence here, and you're not mentioning your research or your sources. So before you give your presentation in class on Tuesday, you're really going to want to flesh this out. So you'll want to not only include a fact here, but this is your chance to really explain it. I mean, you're acting as a teacher, so how can you teach us about this material in a way that's really engaging and gets us excited about your ideas? So you could share a story, or in this case maybe a case study about someone who has AIDS or HIV and how that's impacted their life or maybe their family. And you can share quotes, statistics, examples. It's probably not a topic appropriate for jokes or poetry, but you really can elaborate on your main ideas in a variety of ways. And for an 8 to 10 minute speech, you definitely want to include a whole bunch more supporting material and research. So since this is a research presentation, you're going to want to include your sources just like you would if you were writing a research paper. So be sure to write your sources in here and say them as part of your speech. Your audience isn't going to see this preparation handout, so in order for them to understand the quality of research that you've conducted, you're going to need to say those sources as you're talking. One way you can do that is simply to say, according to, and then put the name of the author in, and then this is where you would put your date. So in 2017, in their article, in their article titled HIV, or so you can get the idea, but you're gonna wanna you're gonna want to include this information within the body of your presentation. And for the speech, you definitely need to have at least 3 sources. I recommend having 5. After you've really worked on and developed the body of your presentation, then you're going to need to work on your conclusion. Your conclusion has 2 main parts, or 3 in this handout. You want to include the summary of your main ideas, which you do have here, so excellent job. You reinforced your thesis statement, but remember, when you're including this, make sure that you definitely include the topic of your presentation. And then your memorable ending, you have another quote here, but again, you don't tell us where it's from, so you want to be sure to share the person who said it, where they said it, when they said it, but good job putting a quote there for your clincher. That's a nice technique. So your sources, again, you're going to need to have 3. You only have 1, and you're going to have to definitely be sure to cite this and all the sources in your reference list in your paper. So hopefully this feedback will help you to keep working on your presentation and really develop it so that you can be successful and feel proud on the day that you present. Thanks for your hard work.